Good evening. Hope everybody has been doing well today. Hang on, let me get my volumes right here. I think I'm good now. It's been a heck of a day keeping up on news. There has been quite a bit going on today as far as news is concerned, all over the place. Wow. Where to begin? First off, I wanted to say I wanted to appreciate the donation we got today because it massively helped us. We had a bill we didn't know how we were going to get paid. Wasn't that much, but nonetheless. And I had not only that weight taken off my shoulders, but I was able to get the diesel heater that I've been wanting to get, which is an enormous weight off my shoulders, because now heat is feasible this winter if we lose electricity. For those that don't know, we have electric heat, and it's our only way of heating. We don't have a wood stove. We can't put in a wood stove. It's probably the same situation that most renters find themselves in. And so, as I was looking through all the different alternatives for alternative heat, I really do think these diesel heaters are probably going to come out ahead. I did consider the old school type kerosene heaters, but the problem is, you're pretty limited on fuel with the kerosene heater, and you're not going to get around that. With the little cheap knockoff Chinese diesel heaters, as long as you get the viscosity right, you can burn a lot of stuff in it. You just got to get the viscosity right. In other words, if you take motor oil, you can cut it with a little bit of gasoline, and as long as you get it right and around the same viscosity as diesel fuel, it's going to burn it like a dream. So, that gives you flexibility. But anyway, that was, like I said, a huge weight off my shoulders. And while we're on the subject of finances, I keep forgetting to thank whoever it is, because I have no idea who it is, that's been using our Amazon affiliate link. So we had a couple of months there that we didn't even meet the $10 minimum, and so now we'll finally be able to meet, third month in, we'll be able to meet that $10 minimum to get a payout. That won't be for another month or two, though. And still waiting on YouTube. I'm assuming that this coming month is when we'll be able to see, and when I say when we'll be able to see our first money from YouTube, understand that just like the Amazon affiliate program has a $10 limit, that you have to meet at least $10 in that month, or else they don't give you payment. They just hold it until you do got $10. And so Google AdSense has the same thing, except it's $100. So whether or not we'll have $100 in our AdSense account come next month when that comes in, I don't know. It'll probably take another month to be able to hit that, because we've already got $21 or something in there now, 22, something like that. But again, it just sits there, and that's been there for years now. Because again, until you hit that magic number, they don't release it to you. So anyway, I wanted to thank the person that gave the donation, and I want to thank those that use the Amazon affiliate link that we have in the description, and it helps. I don't I'm not one, I don't moan and groan whenever we're hurting or we're running behind or anything like that. And we don't operate on some big huge budget, and that's why it kind of frustrates me when you've got channels out there that are making a decent amount of money, and they just the one really gets me. It really gets me. You won't invest $100 or so in this microphone equipment, but wants everybody to go pay $3 a month at his Subscribe Star. It's like, are you kidding me? You know, I mean, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. So we run a pretty tight budget, and that goes for not only life but prepping and all of that. And that's why I feel so passionate when it comes to prepping, coming here and being able to show you good deals or better deals, so that you can save a little bit of money, so you can do more prepping. That's, for instance, these heaters. I've been looking at them on Amazon because that's where we do a lot of our shopping. And the prices, the one I had in the wish list wasn't available. And I went looking at the prices, and the prices were 15-20% up compared to what they used to be. So I thought, well, what the heck? I'll fire up eBay, and I'll see what eBay has to offer. eBay had a huge selection with much better prices. So I was actually able to pick and choose a little bit and get 99.9% the one I wanted. I'd have preferred black or even red, but white is what it is. But anyway, it's got, all the other features, the important stuff. The color doesn't matter. It's got the important, the features I found important. So, anyway, I can't wait till that gets here and then get some fuel and get it checked out. Of course, I'll take you guys along for the trip, and that way you guys can get my thoughts on it. And I'm sure that I will put it to use a little bit this winter, just so we can get an idea of what it can do. That way we know we're not caught up in any surprises. Because the last thing I want to do, especially when it comes to heating solutions, is find out that my quote-unquote solution isn't going to be enough or doesn't work right or what have you. So always make sure when you have important preps like this that you really do run it through its paces, get familiar with the equipment, make sure it's going to do what you need it to do, and make sure you know what to actually expect from it. Because I think that's going to be a big downfall for a lot of folks that don't get out there and use their gear. I think a lot of folks are going to expect their gear to do the work for them. And I think they're going to find out very quickly that all those cool videos they watched on YouTube had a whole lot to do with that cat, having experience with working with whatever it is. So, I watched, I think it was Prepared Mind 101 made a video a little while back, and he was talking about knives. He does a lot of knife videos. And he was kind of warning people about, don't buy a knife just because you saw somebody on YouTube, use that knife and they could do amazing things with it, because that's just it. That's what they do. They do stuff with their knives. And, essentially they could use any old knife and still be able to achieve the task that they're showing you on video. But, it is what it is. And that's true with anything, if you're a really good guitarist, it don't matter much what kind of guitar you got. You can make any kind of junky guitar sound good. Used to be in a band many, many, many moons ago. And our drummer, when I met him, had the cheapest, crappiest old drum set you could imagine. But he could make that drum set sing. And so, it was that point in time I realized that, there's a whole lot more to knowing how to do something than necessarily having this or that particular brand or, and same goes true with most of this stuff. So, as I've told you guys a million times before, there's only a very few select things that I'll fanboy for. It's not much. Drones, absolutely drones I'll fanboy for, because after all I've looked into, after what I've experienced, DJI is, unless you can spend the extra money for Autel or something like that. But, other than that, DJI is the way to go. Same as I've said multiple times before when it comes to multi-tools, right? Leatherman, all the way. Leatherman's the way to go. But I'm not that way with a very, wide selection of things. It's just very few things am I that way, because I've sat there and I've looked and I've looked and I've looked, and it's really hard to compete with certain companies. Anyway, trying to think if there's anything more. Just feel kind of tired and tonight. So I do have several links up I was going to talk about, and then I'm going to run through the headlines and get the heck out of here. Like I said, I'm beat. Not really feeling the best. I don't know what the deal is. So hang on a minute. Okay. Sorry, just checking email. I haven't ordered an eBay for so long. You wouldn't believe how many times I looked at the address just to make sure I had the address right. And I even asked Jen like twice. I'm like confirming the address with her because everybody's head can play games with them a little bit. And I haven't ordered off of eBay in so long. And I'm one of those, when it comes to addresses, I'm like OCD. I look it over like a million times. I'm not really like that with a whole bunch. But when it comes to placing an order and addresses, I can't stop looking at it to make sure it's okay. And then I'll trip my own self up with the numbers. It's the most stupid thing ever. But the only thing I'm that way with, I'm not that way with math. I'm not that way with anything else. Just addresses. That's it. But anyway, man. But yeah, I haven't been, and today I'm just not feeling good. I don't know what the deal is. I haven't been around anybody other than Jen and Blue. So chances of me being sick as from something viral or something, I doubt it, because nobody been around. Let's see. Here it is. I'm going to say, let me figure out where the hell I put it. Like I said, I've got a lot of stuff, brought up. Not a lot, but a fair amount of stuff brought up. Going down two major roads here, as you could probably tell by the title of the show. This whole, the COVID thing, the governments in other countries are just going absolutely insane. I had long expected our government to start going insane, and they hadn't up until this point. And I'm talking about with new lockdowns and, the whole drill. And they hadn't, and I'd been kind of cocking my head to the side like a dog looking at the government going, what are you waiting for? And I'm not sure what's going to happen here, because I really was convinced that we were going to be slammed right back into lockdowns and stuff like that. And so far, there haven't been much of any mention of it. And I'm going to bring you on over here because the White House had spoke about it. Now, I'm not advising anybody believe a word that comes out of the White House. But I am going to tell you what they are saying as of now. What they are saying, I want to make that very clear, because it's the White House and it's the Biden administration, and what day is it? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. It says here, top White House COVID-19 response coordinator said that the U.S. is likely not headed for more lockdowns, arguing that vaccines and other tools in health officials' arsenal would be sufficient to battle the virus. Asked about whether future shutdown orders could be on the horizon during a Monday press briefing, senior White House COVID advisor Jeff Zients answered in the negative, telling reporters the days of lockdowns in the U.S. are over. We're not headed in that direction. We can curb the spread of the virus without having to in any way shut down our economy, he said, adding that the virus is now under our control. Zients' remarks follow similar comments from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, who has repeatedly stressed that no more lockdowns are in store, telling reporters as early as August that we are not going back. Despite those assurances, however, lockdown orders in the U.S. have been the exclusive domain of state and local authorities rather than the White House, leaving it unclear whether Zients and Psaki are referring to an as yet unprecedented federal shutdown measure. Though some localities had begun to lift their pandemic restrictions, many states and cities across the U.S. continue to impose mask requirements, vaccine passes, and occupancy limits, among other containment policies. Now, I like how they say many cities, many states and cities, and they act as if many states and cities have vaccine passes, and that's not correct, because most of the people in this country will tell you what you can do with yourself if you try to tell them they need a vaccine pass. So, in fact, I would venture to say the only ones in this country that don't have the testicolios to do so would be New York and California. So, but there's 48 other states with a big fuck you, right? Sorry for the language, but that's the way it is. I don't think we're going back to lockdowns. I think lessons were learned on several accounts. It would have to be serious. Here, as of lately, I've noticed a lot the fear mongering, the rhetoric is starting to pick up again, especially since yesterday, especially since last night's events at the Christmas parade in Wisconsin. And it's like you listen to Full Spectrum Survival today, and you'll think the sky's falling, the world's coming to an end, everybody's gonna die tomorrow. But that guy's been on that kick every day for a little while now because it gets clicks. It gets clicks and it makes money and it's whatever. But, folks, I don't think we're heading back towards lockdowns. I initially thought so, and I was bracing for it. I was warning you to brace for it. But I don't think it worked over too well on any account. It didn't really do anything to stop the spread. It really didn't help the economy too well. It didn't help any of us too well. It also didn't help the people's outlook on government. Right now, you have the most unpopular administration in office. The last thing they're going to want to do is something like a lockdown. Because right now, honestly, I think they're barely hanging in there. I really do. As far as I do, ever since this administration took over, this country had just went to hell. Quick. Now, I'm not blaming it all on Biden. Biden actually had no control over a majority of the problem. However, that was the problem he inherited. The problem he keeps continuing to perpetuate is a different story. That is on him. So, and I think people are fed up. I think a whole lot of people are fed up. And I think that in a sense, especially when it comes to the words lockdown, I think they're going to want to tread real lightly. It'd probably be a good idea. Anyway, just letting you know what's up with that. I don't think they're going to go down that road. I'm not saying they're not going to do anything nefarious. I'm not saying they're not going to have evil plans or anything like that. I just don't think they're going to go down that particular road. There's other ways to have lockdowns without having lockdowns. You know, for whatever reason, they could impose state borders, right, with checkpoints, and you're essentially locked down. But if it's not called lockdown, you know what I mean? And if it's not done in the same way that it was done before, well then, they've got room to argue that it's not lockdown. So anyway, this was also very telling, I thought. This doesn't have to do with COVID so much, but it has to do with the whole supply chain and all that nonsense. U.S. states suggest vegan Thanksgiving as inflation soars. Yeah. I mean, and again, I'll have to say I hear those words echoing in my head again from George Bush Sr. We have to better compete in the global economy. And this right here screams that to me. But this says St. Louis Federal Reserve has caused outrage by boldly recommending Americans choose a cheaper soybean-based dinner for Thanksgiving amid soaring inflation rates. In a recent blog post, the Missouri-based Federal Bank compared and contrasted the prices of poultry to soybeans, the main ingredient for tofu, which some vegans use to make tofurkey as a Thanksgiving replacement. Tofurkey. Let's have some tofurkey. A poultry dinner will cost Americans over twice what a soy-based dinner would set them back, according to the bank's data. Poultry global price has averaged 6 times higher than soybeans since 1990. The blog claims that that a soybean dinner would also provide twice as much protein, but this is only if you eat the calories equivalent to turkey. Well, we're going to do better than that. We're not going to have turkey for Thanksgiving. It does remind me of our first Thanksgiving together, however, in 2014. That was funny. Our big Turkey Day dinner for the first one we spent together was Casey's Pizza. Because it was the only place that was open, that we could find open. Because our plans to make a nice, big turkey dinner fell through when when we realized that the cab services were closed and we had no way to go get the groceries. So anyway, this year we're steering away from the turkey and we're just going to have steaks. When Jen went shopping, I had her pick up some steaks. They had a sale going on them, and so I had her pick up some and had her pick up like 4 steaks, and we ate a couple the following day after she picked them up, and I put the other 2 in the freezer. So we're gonna have steaks, New York strip steaks. So I'm gonna have that, and probably some broccoli, and probably some shells and cheese, and yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I honestly don't have to do anything special for it myself. I mean, another day. Anywho, this is absolutely mind-blowing here. Let me have a sip of coffee. Let's see. As you can see on the headline in front of you, even fully vaccinated you're anti-vax if you oppose mandates, says the Australian minister. Yeah, so even if you're fully vaccinated and personally don't have an issue with getting the vaccine, if you oppose mandates, then you're considered an anti-vaxxer. See how that works? This is what's so concerning about this to me. And that's what I was saying a while ago about, not seeing lockdowns on the horizon myself in this country, is because this is what they're after. This is what they want. They want this in everybody's arm. That's what they're after. They're not after locking down the country. They're after you putting this in your body. That is what they want. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the unvaccinated won't be locked down in this country. That may very well be in our future. But as far as just a general lockdown for everybody, I don't see that. I do see a possibility of a lockdown for unvaccinated, though. I do see that. Anyway, I thought that was mind-blowing. And then this, I thought was just insane. This is the last one to do with COVID I've got. This is what the German health minister says. Germans will be vaccinated, cured, or dead by winter's end. Huh. Gives a lot of choices there, doesn't he? Again, their main focus is getting that inside of you. That is probably what concerns me the most about it. Gonna shift gears real quick. Oops, not to that gear. Gonna shift gears real quick. Gonna discuss rising tensions, namely involving, in this sense, tonight anyway, Russia. I know we keep bouncing around from Russia, China, all that. There's a lot of crazy going on. So this is an issue that I see probably rearing its head in the future. The Ukraine using U.S. weapons amidst all of the nonsense that I think is just about to break out when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. I wouldn't even be shocked to see a false flag here pretty soon. It's clearly building up. Something is clearly going on. I know that Russia is claiming that there's not any troop movements and all of that, that there's nothing. From my understanding, I do have a couple sources on matters, and Russia's making movements. There's no doubt Russia's making movements. And it is something that would be consistent with an invading type of force, and the equipment and all of that's moving. It does kind of look like that. So it could be anything. It really could. It could just whatever, But I do know that Russia's not being 100% about it, and we'll see. I see that this is going to flare up at some point. Russia is still continuing drills up north in the Arctic. It's been often said that the Arctic is where, the next major war is gonna mainly take place, or at least that's going to be a focus of it. Because of all of the other, there's a lot of resources up there for one, and because now they've opened it up for shipping lanes. So, in a sense, those shipping lanes are a form of resource themselves. And so you know how that goes. Anytime that there's resources up for grabs, there's usually wars to be able to secure said resources. a lot of these resources that are up north, up in the Arctic and stuff, aren't really what you would call secured at this point. I mean, somewhat, but there's always wiggle room to knock somebody off and get a few more acres. You know what I mean? Not saying that kind of jokingly, but that's the truth of the matter. Hang on, let me have a sip of coffee. And you see here, NATO war games near Russian border fueling heightened tension, says Moscow. So, again, it's everybody that's playing games. And when I say games, I guess pun intended. They're playing head games. They're playing, obviously military war games. And there's a lot of it. I mean, it's nonstop. I mean, they get out of one drill, they're right into another drill. And it's just like nonstop drills going on at this point. Man, I'll tell you what, that's lots of chances for an oops. And that's what I'm concerned about. This is the other thing that really concerns me. Is you see this headline say Gazprom threatens to halt gas supply to Moldova within 48 hours. Russia is becoming a pretty big energy giant, and they're growing very quickly. With the completion of Nord Stream 2, that gave them abilities to transport fuel on a level like never before. I mean, not even close. However, they're still running into issues with permits and different countries that's wanting to throw a wrench in their ability to provide different types of fuels. I know that Russia themselves are probably playing games with people, and that could be largely what this is right here. But I want you to pay particular note to, once again, its resources. That is what's the squabble about. And I'm telling you, if Russia starts cutting off fuel to different countries and whatnot, for whatever reason, and at the same on the same note, other countries prevent Russia from delivering gas through their pipeline through their country, there's going to be an extremely, and I mean an extremely high likelihood of conflict. I would say, with pretty much certainty, that of all the reasons that there is on the table right now, that would be the number one reason Russia would be willing to go to war. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Anyway, I think that covers the stories that I had up. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot. It was actually not long before the show when I got everything set up and ready for the show. I was actually a couple of minutes late getting the show started, so may have a few vapes here and a couple of drinks, and we'll do headlines, and I'll get out of here. Like I said, I'm not feeling the best. I don't know what the deal is. Just tired. My sinuses have been horrid all day. I don't know what the deal is. Fun times. Not really, but I figure if I keep lying to myself, eventually I might believe it. I don't know if that works or not, but we'll try. Oh, man. Let's see. All right. Let me get that moved over. Huh. Probably heading to bed early too. I did play around in the F-18 a little bit this morning. Tuned it up a little bit more, the performance of it. I'll get it right where I want it. I pretty much have the engines right where I want them. Now I'm going to toy with the flight dynamics just a little bit. And, yeah, it's going to be fun. Gonna be fun. I remember in FSX, the previous flight simulator that came out in, what, 08 or something like that? 06, 08, somewhere in there. I can remember that where I had my settings for the flight dynamics of the F-18 and that, which was just, oh my gosh, it was fun. I could literally stand to the F-18 on its tail, so to speak, just right above the ground and hold it in one place with the thrust from the thrusters. And with the way that I had the flight dynamics set up on the plane, it was incredible. It was just for fun. It wasn't for realistic flight whatsoever. It was just a fun plane. You could turn around and hit full afterburner from doing that and shoot up to 100,000 feet in just the blink of an eye. I mean, that thing was a rocket. It was unreal. So I'm not going that crazy with this F-15 or the F-18. It is considerably faster than stock, but not anything too stupid. It's realistically faster. They shoved a couple of Russia's engines in the F-18. My plane would be a reality. All right. Let's see. All right. Got some headlines in front of us. Fun times. Okay. Starting with everything from today, from this morning, I should say, that I put out. Activists in Kenosha protest Rittenhouse verdict. Did a video on that. U.S. military force with worst COVID-19 vaccination rate, so far revealed. Rittenhouse shares views on BLM, race, and first post-acquittal interview. Believe that's tonight. Pardon me. I believe that's tonight. I don't know if it's already came out. Very likely that it has. But Tucker Carlson, in fact, after the show here, I'm going to go digging to see if I can find that, because I'm really looking forward to listening to it. Poll reveals Matthew McConaughey's chances to govern Texas. Duarte reacts to China blocking Philippine ships. NATO war games near Russian border fueling heightened tensions, says Moscow. Oh, I covered that, sorry. Oil on slippery slope as COVID resurgence threatens global travel. Hepatitis A alert for thousands of Starbucks customers. Just make that another one of a billion reasons not to go to Starbucks. Arms depot looting amid COVID protests sparks demand for fringe help. UK MP suggests sending illegal migrants to disputed territory. Anti-vax, LGBT, and bestiality. Russia ponders creating register of toxic content. COVID protest, pure violence by idiots, says the Dutch Prime Minister. Covered that one. NATO submarine caused Kursk sinking that killed 118 Russian sailors, an ex-admiral claims. Which that happened over 2 decades ago. Control freak Netanyahu obsessed over media image, his ex-aide testifies. Moscow comments on reports Russia is ready to invade Ukraine. A child abuse pandemic record revealed by Charity. Apparently, during the pandemic, the cases of child sex abuse in the UK anyway, and to be honest, probably the same here, has just went insane, they were saying, which, I mean, I get it. Why it would, that is, kids not being in school, kids being, left with other individuals to watch them for the day while the parents go to work or whatever. There's 1,000,001 not the norm instances there with children, and I could see a higher likelihood of that kind of stuff happening. It's a shame. It's crazy. It is. We have got to get a grasp on self-accountability. We really do. And when I say that, I get it. Most of the people that come here, you're here for a reason. You're not going to be that type of person. But there's a lot of individuals in this country, around the world actually, absolutely no self-control, no self-discipline, very, very high disregard for respect, no morals, and it's just getting worse. It's perpetually getting worse. It's just crazy. Germany promotes Moderna shot as the Rolls-Royce of COVID vaccines. World's first Bitcoin city to arise in El Salvador. Palestinians march in honor of Jerusalem Temple Mount attacker. Austria Chancellor apologizes to vaccinated over drastic lockdown. Chaos and instability is coming to Russia, says an ex-Kremlin mastermind. Surkov's his name. Ukraine boasts of blocking Nord Stream 2 pipeline. That's kind of part of what I was talking about. They blocked that pipeline. That gives, Russia all the more reason to do something. Russian region cancels school as temperatures plunge below -50. UK defense chief gets massive bonus despite tank failure. Don't you love government? Government and banking, there's not very many different professions you can do where the more horribly you screw up, the higher and faster you get promoted. Putin holds call with Italian PM over Belarus border crisis and standoff with Ukraine. Musk reveals a peculiar secret about his tweets. And I did read enough to know what that secret is. And everybody's got to know this. About 50% of the time when Elon Musk puts out a tweet, he's sitting on the toilet. Seriously, that's the big secret. Merkel wants tougher COVID measures, says reports. UK military under fire over secret epidemic among troops. Apparently they have a gambling problem. Fox News contributors quit over Tucker Carlson's Capitol riot special. Ukraine could use... Oh, cover that one. Biden nominates chairman of U.S. Federal Reserve. And it happens to be Jerome Powell. 25th UK energy firm this year to go amid killer gas prices. Now, if I'm understanding this correctly, these energy companies, energy firms are going under. Now, there's something interesting about that. Just because the company goes under doesn't mean that the people that were their customers doesn't mean that they no longer need, whatever it is, whatever type of energy they're getting, right? They still need it, and very likely they're still going to get it. So essentially what is happening here, in my opinion, is the little guys are getting knocked off. The big guys are picking up where the little guys were, and they're just trying to monopolize the market even more. That's what I think is honestly going on. EU country arrest over 100 following anti-lockdown riots. Let's see. Netherlands, that was. Hypocritical Nike is guilty of modern-day slavery, rages NBA ace. That would be true. Ex-ISIS fighters claim paying their way out of jail. Lukashenko says he'll speak to Belarusian opposition when Putin begins talks with Navalny. Trump was awarded an honorary black belt, and I know the headline doesn't say honorary, but that is truly what it is. It's an honorary black belt, and I wasn't going to say it without the word honorary, because I'm sorry, I've got an issue with that. I've got a big issue with that. I'm not a fan of giving out honorary black belts. Nah, go make him the Duke of Shire or something, whatever, but no. Rittenhouse lawyer explains how media got basic facts wrong. Island residents evacuate over deadly volcanic gases. Covered that one. Another EU country mulling a 3-week COVID lockdown. That would be Slovakia. A Democrat resigns after calling Waukesha tragedy karma for Rittenhouse verdict. And it happens to be an Illinois Democrat. And it was actually the, what was it, the media something. Hang on. Forget the title. Social media director for the Democratic Party in Illinois. What, hon? Let's see. Russian parliament mulls ban on gay movie scenes. Reports of Ukraine invasion are American disinformation, Moscow claims. We covered that. Waukesha parade attack not terrorism. Suspect facing homicide charges. The phrase trigger warning is too triggering for students, university says, so they got to come up with another word to explain the trigger warning that won't trigger them for the trigger warning without a trigger. You got it? Because I'm fucking lost. Massacre suspect was out on inappropriately low bail, says a prosecutor. And from my understanding, from reading, because I did read quite a bit, anything that I could coming out about this, which has been kind of limited, to be honest. But from my understanding, this dude was in jail once before for running over some lady. So this incident is not the first time that he's ran over somebody. From my understanding. I mean, this is just insane. Absolutely insane. A Russian regulator lists tech giants that must comply with law or face sanctions. Decoration behind U.S.-backed Venezuelan leader falls apart. Just about like your promises that you were going to get that presidency there, Skipper. Top EU ministers in quarantine over positive COVID test. Security breach exposes over 1.2 million email accounts belonging to major web host. Biden confirms 2024 plans. Yeah, I said it. He's actually going to run for re-election. It's like everybody got silent. Why? Israel begins vaccinating youngest age group yet. Obama receives largest ever gift from Jeff Bezos. Well, he does have a big phallic-shaped rocket. Oh, let's see. White House assesses lockdown possibility. We talked about that. IMF. Get off there. IMF stresses crypto risks amid Bitcoin City plans. And that would be the headlines. I am going to scooch out of here and relax the rest of the evening. Hopefully I feel a little better tomorrow. So, anyway, I am out of here. I appreciate y'all coming. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.